Hi, Indra.
Hi, Samina.
Hi there. Okay, for all of you watching, Indra is coming to Awaken the Goddess 2018. She was there last year as well. This year she's going to be doing a really amazing workshop. But before we get to that, Indra, tell us what you do and introduce yourself, please.
What don't I do? Thank you. Well, my name is Indra. I run my wee business called Silent Moon Imaginarium, which you may have seen on Facebook and all around social media. What I do is I create flower essences by the light of the moon, so everything's balanced with the moon energy. So you might know of Dr. Bach, and you might know of Alaskan essences, all created in sunlight. Well, mine are very similar, but they are created in moonlight, which is totally different, because what it does is it draws up the shadow in people. It makes you face the real stuff, you know, the big stuff, the deep stuff, the stuff that you really need to pull out and work on. So I always say that, you know, my essences are for those people who don't want to mess around. They're for people who really want to do the work. And weirdly, since the last Goddess weekend, it's really taken off, and the testimonials that have come through and watching people's transformations has just been huge. In the beginning, when I started the business, it was kind of looking at, how do I know how this is going to work on somebody else? I know how it works on me, but how is it going to be for somebody else? And in the end now, I can sort, well, not in the end, we're not even in the beginning. But I can now see, now I can go to that person and see how amazing their transformation is, and love, and their experience, and they're experimenting with so many of the different elixirs. So it's elixir and essence being the same thing. I just shifted,
interchanged. Yeah.
So it is the same thing. That's the basic sort of side of the business and how it began, really. But I've moved on since then. Since last year, transformed weirdly. So yeah, I am now doing a wonderful work with women and with men. Doing the work of the Wild One weekend, which we had our first one in October. Was it October? No, the next one's in October. It was March. Because we had snow. It felt like October. Fabulous. It was just amazing. It couldn't have gone any better. And nature did its thing by presenting us so much snow and great energy. And the Wild One weekend is all about really touching on your true nature and your true self, and who you really are.
Yeah.
You might think you know, but not everybody does.
Yeah. So the workshop you're doing at Awaken the Goddess is actually based on the Wild One, isn't it? So it's a real good taster for people who want to know a bit more about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm taking an hour and a half segment from the Wild One weekend, and I'm working with that really, and creating the circle time. And it is for men and for women. My Wild One weekend has always been about bringing men and women together and balancing. I'm all about balancing the male and the female, so that we can learn to get on with each other that little bit better. but that part of the Wild One that I'm bringing to Awaken the Goddess is something I want to work. I want to work with colour. I'm an Aurosoma practitioner, if you've ever heard of Aurosoma.
Oh, yes.
I haven't done Aurosoma for a long time, basically because buying the bottles costs thousands and thousands of pounds. It's stunning. If you haven't seen Aurosoma bottles, you need to, because if you're in a depressive state, you just have to look at those bottles. They're just stunning. But I take the work that I learned from the Foundation 1 and 2, and I use it in a way that helps people acknowledge what colour is and how it is, how it really works in their lives, and it really does affect us. So I want to work with that with the people at the Awaken the Goddess, and just give them a taste of what people experienced in March when they came to the weekend in the Lake District.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Indra, why did you decide to work with the moon? So it brings out the shadow, but it also helps with women's cycles as well, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We're very connected, aren't we?
Yeah, very. Yeah. I mean, there's the moon is like the buzzword at the moment, isn't it? It's like one of those things everybody's working with the moon energy. And it's fantastic because I think we have to remember to balance that with a bit of sun as well. You know, the male energy, the sunshine, you know, we have to have that too. So why did I decide? I don't think I even decided to work with the moon. I think it just kind of called me. When I was making the flower essences, I never felt that I wanted to do them by sunlight. The moon called me, and then there's that whole thing I've heard people say, oh, they don't work if you make them in the moonlight. The nighttime is a time of deadness. It's a time of sleeping. It's like, but the energy's there. You know, hang on a minute, this is when the elementals and the fairies come to life. That's the time for them, you know, they're doing their thing. You know, I do work a lot in nature with the elementals. That's how I make the essences. And I just thought, how can that be? You know, and obviously I don't follow norm. I mean, look at me. Head. So it's like, come on, let's experiment with this. Let's really see how it works. You know, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, but I can't see why it wouldn't. So I started to do it, and I started to work with the energy of the flower essences and the gem essences myself and see how it went. And then I started giving them to others. And just watching the transformation is quite amazing. I often take a lot of black batch essences as well, because I do feel the need to balance, and Alaskan essences are also my favourite, but I do feel the need to balance them both out. But if you're wanting to do deep work, work with that energy of the moon and really, you know, it's fabulous, but you've got to be prepared to do it. And I feel that very strongly with people sometimes, you know, I'm going to go there. And then the real stuff starts to hit and we run away, and it's like, you've got to stay with it because it's the only way of clearing.
Yeah.
And often with my consultations, in my consultations, I do give support with that, with people who are having freaked out, what we call healing crises in the flower essence world. You know, I'm there to support. I don't just give the essence and go, all right, then I'm off. I do support because people do need it. Often they think, oh, well, how's this bottle of magic going to work? But it does. It's powerful. Why wouldn't it? It's the energy of nature, you know. And so it's still one of those things that people find hard to believe, but I'm still trying to crack the nut. You know, it does work. It does work.
Well, the more people that try it, the more people that are finding out, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've seen that in the Wild One, you know. We have a separate Facebook group for the Wild One weekend. So when you do join the weekend, you become part of the Facebook group. And watching people in that group and how they support each other, and when they're on, often we've had this thing about Violet at the moment. Everybody's on Violet together, or has been on Violet together. So that's been interesting in itself, watching everybody go through the Violet transformation together and support each other. And it's been invaluable to watch that group. So not only do you get to come on the weekend, but you also get to work with people who you have something in common with. You get the support, and which is really good for people who find that they're alienated, you know, with their families, and I'm so different, I'm so strange, or, you know, it's like, come and join us. because we're strange together.
It's so important, isn't it, to have a network? Yeah.
But it's true. You know, so supportive.
Yeah.
So it's great. It really is.
There's just one last thing I wanted to ask you. You've got these really amazing moon cards, phases of the moon cards on your website. Yeah. Will you be bringing them to Awaken the Goddess? Because I really want a set.
Yeah.
Cool.
I will. They're great because they support my Embodying Your Moon Spirit course that I do online, and I'm also doing that for a day in Northumberland on the 2nd of September. I'm running that course, but I'm running it live, so I'm obviously doing it in person. And obviously, when people come, things shift and change. So we go with the energy of us being together in a room. But, you know, they work really well with Embodying Your Moon Spirit, because you get to see, okay, every 2.5 days, the moon phase changes. So they're good to put on the altar and go, okay, now we're here, now this is where the energy is, and so we can work with that. That's really, I created them as a prompt, a prompt for me. They were originally a prompt for me, so now I use them as a prompt for everybody else. Would you like this prompt? That's it. Just support that. I think sometimes with cards you can get a bit they can get a bit sort of complicated, and these aren't complicated. They're just simple, so they'll be there.
Yes.
Yeah. along with many other elixirs. And I would like to say before we finish is that I'm doing pre-orders again, Samina. So remember last year when I'm not bringing everything, obviously. So I have said if people want to buy something off the site, they can order it in advance and I can bring it for them, because obviously I'm not bringing everything. All they have to do is check with me if I'm bringing it, and I can make it up for them and I can bring it, because it saves the postage, and often it's the postage, it's a big thing that stops people purchasing stuff, because postage now is just so crazy. So, if you want something off the site, please just tell me, order it, I'll have it made up and I'll have it at the weekend for you. So I did that last year and quite a few people ordered in advance. So feel free to get in touch.
Lovely. Great. Thank you so much, Indra.
You're welcome. I'll see you there.